Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to a new video. So this session was followed from a day off of training. I actually didn't train the Friday. This was a session I did on Saturday, and there was a couple reasons for that. So I suppose the first reason I didn't train on Friday was I took a nap after work, and I slept for a couple hours. Now what was weird is I woke up and I was awake and I felt like I had a lot of energy, and I was gonna do the kind of like recovery session, the muscle snatch and overhead press stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna go out and do it. I got my bag, got all my stuff together, went out there and locked eyes with a mouse. So I saw a mouse out there and I was like, well, I can't really train now because that little guy ran to the back of the shed and I didn't want to be dropping weights or moving stuff around and have a mouse run around me, because then I would scream like a small girl. But I decided to not train because of that, and it was too late at night. It was like 9:30 at night, so I wasn't going to drive to the gym or anything like that just to do, muscle snatches and overhead press. So I decided, well, I'll just not train. And kind of is weird because that's probably the oddest way for me not to train, but sometimes life happens. But it wasn't a very prominent session, but if anything, it's good to not train on those days sometimes just to get a little extra recovery. But when I came to train on Saturday, well, the mouse died because I killed it with a mouse trap. So thankfully, the session after this one here, I was back in the shed. So the mouse is no longer with us and no longer hiding in the shed because he is now living in the afterlife. But I felt really good on this day, and part of that was because I didn't train the previous day. But the other, I suppose, is probably because I got a lot of sleep as well. And so I knew I wanted to push up a little bit heavier. But as you can see with that kind of rep there, I pressed out a little bit with a 110. I believe the original plan was to go to about 100. So I'm already kind of past where I was planning. But there, I caught it solid, and I made a deal that if I caught it solid with the left arm, then I could go up to do 120. Now this 120 wasn't the best as far as the left arm goes, but I was able to do it, and this is the heaviest I've done since I've kind of started this program, which, is fine because I didn't push past there. So I have the knee sleeves on today, not to actually mask any pain, but to actually just lift more weight. Because I was feeling good, I wanted to push and do a little bit more than what I had originally had planned, and just wanted to have them on to help with that. Well, only negative of the session, I suppose, was the fact that I had a bit of a headache, and I think that kind of impacted me a little bit on the heavier sets of clean and jerks. So all these felt fine from a strength and technique standpoint. Same with the snatches, they felt pretty good. Besides the bit of the press out with the left arm, but I pushed up heavier than what I was planning, so it makes sense that form and technique would break down just a little bit. And honestly, the technique wasn't too bad. It was more so just the left arm being a bit weak, so hopefully continue to kind of work on that. But didn't have anything on my wrist just because my wrist didn't really feel like it needed it, and I don't know, just felt like training without it. This is just 100 here. Nothing that was really difficult. I took normal jumps from 60 to 80 to 100. Next one will be 120 here. This one again was pretty easy. I was very happy with how the jerks were feeling. Really until I got to 140, and the 140 jerk went pretty well, but I think that's where the headache started to impact me because I started to feel a little woozy. Not really like I was going to pass out entirely, but just, I don't know, I just didn't feel entirely there, so I guess maybe I was a little bit woozy. But this 130 there went well. Because of that felt easy, I went to 140, and I did actually do the jerk with this weight, so it wasn't as if I wasn't able to do it, and I think it looked pretty good. Let's see. That's pretty decent. Well, you can see there about my hands on my hips because I was feeling a bit woozy. So naturally, I add 10 kilos and tried 150. I wasn't really thinking of doing the jerk. I kind of put it there and I was like, no, I felt more of the headache, more woozy, and I was like, no, not worth it. But happy to do the clean and to not try to do anything crazy on the jerk because it's the heaviest clean I've done since I've started this as well. So just kind of building up the tolerance, and weights are moving well. Back squats, I was still feeling really good physically, even though I had that bit of a headache. It was pretty mild, and I don't really know what it was from because I had slept a lot, ate a lot, drank a lot of water, and all that good stuff. Sometimes just life gets in the way. So that 180 squat works well. I was walking out forward on this one just so I could record from the front, which I like to do sometimes. I like how it looks, and just to see hip shift and things like that. But it is difficult to do to walk out because of that little bit that black mat ledge. It's a small little lift, so it's not the easiest. Plus, it's easier to walk backwards than forward for squats. Then finish with some quick pulls. Nothing really too crazy with those. Just went 110 to 140, 170 to this 200, and that was really into the session. So a heavier session as the kind of like day 3 of the week, but a very productive one. And hopefully this is kind of just a general trend, because when I kind of wrote this stuff down, it was to be hyper conservative, and if as my body feels good and feels able to, then obviously I want to push up past that and just keep kind of progressing, and not to go crazy on any particular day, but to push up more aggressive as I'm able to. But that's it for this one. I will talk to you on the next video, and have a great day. Peace.